Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I almost started acting there for a minute. It's like crazy. I was just about to watch this video. I had all this stuff I had to do today, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna play Hitman, and somehow I was on my phone. I was like, I got some sort of absurd offer. It was an offer, anyway, it was an offer for something that came free with something, but it was so expensive. I was like, it was like shock value. You know, it took me right back to the 90s, and I lived in LA, and so I started using the phone again. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, and you know, some of these bad comedy stuff, it's like, I started watching again. So anyway, the title of this basically sort of speaks to this, and then as I went live, I was like, you know, sometimes like when you're a kid or whatever, it was like, you know, walking in on somebody or somebody like doing something, you'd like get in trouble or whatever. You know, sometimes like, I don't know, I guess that, you know, sometimes they talk about, you know, like rock musicians, they talk about smoking or doing whatever, you know, like, oh, like getting caught, like somebody came in the room or whatever. Sort of sidetracked. I know that's not really intentional, but I'm going to go right to YouTube. I want to watch this video. I guess Jack Black is doing some of this crazy stuff. He's actually been in some funny comedy movies. I always remember somehow him being on MTV or something. I can't remember. It was like when his career was kind of starting. I can't remember what character he played. He was like, all of a sudden had a lot of popularity, and he goes to the drive-thru of McDonald's and gets like a Filet-O-Fish sort of sandwich that he puts together himself. So I always remember there's like, oh, you know, it should be a total accident, whatever. I guess he's doing something now with some of the guy, or one of the guys from Jackass. They did basically like self-hurt / like, you know, injure buddy comedy. I don't want to say torture, but because it goes off into a different realm. But, you know, that's basically what they did. I mean, they sort of sat there and decided to play a game, you know, and like they're like throwing a ball at each other with, you know, they're like their legs sort of stretched out, and they're inevitably going to hit each other and hurt each other. You know, I mean, the show just went like way off the deep end. If anything, it would be sort of an exercise in, you know, guys shouldn't really do like self-hurt challenges. You know, I think the rule of the game was, you know, like if somebody says they're not going to do the challenge or whatever, then they can't turn down the next one or whatever. I mean, it just kind of goes off the deep end, and then everybody kind of gets in the shenanigans of it. You know, they sort of lie or cheat. You know, they take something. You know, oh, I wasn't there. I couldn't be there that day or whatever. You know, it just sort of goes off the deep end. I remember going to see that movie, and it was like kind of creative in a way, because like a lot of, you know, if you look at a lot of what I did, you know, growing up and stuff, and I talk about like torture and getting hurt and injured and stuff, and it's all really bad. You know, it's not terrible like, oh, terrible good or whatever. And there's real intent there, right? But some of the time you think, well, you know, what if somebody was like older or different, or, you know, they were off, you know, I don't want to say doing something too good or whatever, but like what would they do, you know, if they wanted to get into kind of like, you know, trying to figure out how to, you know, how to be, not be successful or whatever. And somehow these guys, you know, they get this name Jackass, right, which is just out there. You know, they have to all be, you know, technically bad, right? But I mean, some of the stuff they did, I think the last one I saw, you know, that guy, he somehow decided to get inside like some type of crane operated bungee cord apparatus inside of a, you know, partially used porta potty. I mean, I don't know where the application would that be, you know, in a military standpoint, in terms of stopping that from happening. But if you wanted to go, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, when you see it in the movie or the show or whatever, I mean, it you know, it's definitely heinous. I mean, it's just, you know, you'll be sick for a long time after that. You know, a lot of times, I don't know, I sort of leak and I say, oh, you know, I shouldn't go eat here, I shouldn't go eat there, right? You know, the same thing with all those, you know, concerts and food events and everything. Somebody inevitably gets sick. They all go to the bathroom, right? You hop in that thing, you know, however long it's been sitting there, it goes shooting up and down in the air, man. It's just, you know, you really kind of say, wait a minute, you know, how many different ways can a team of guys try to die? You know, I know that sounds bad, and, you know, we talk about, you know, serious, you know, self-suicide. That's the thing. Everybody talks about, you know, this guy got so depressed, or it's in this movie, you know, there was a gun or a weapon or whatever, you know, or it's like a historical war emergency, you know, death on the self, Hamlet type thing, you know. But, I mean, when a group of guys goose around almost like a fraternity, you know, but instead of like just like, you know, living on a college campus and drinking beer and, you know, going, I don't know, I don't want to necessarily say going on dates and stuff, but like trying to talk about women and stuff like that, they just sort of get together and like figure out ways to cause like, you know, heinous injury, you know. And I think it technically includes themselves and the other people, you know, and everybody gets mad or whatever. I mean, most of the time you think, like, you watch the movies or you see bad stuff on the internet, you're like, that's a group of people that, you know, targets somebody who goes to the bar or somebody who goes to the restaurant or, you know, somebody they find or whatever. I mean, all that like Mad Max type stuff, you know, it's the band, you know, the band of outlaws or whatever. They capture, they take over somebody for a period of time. They basically kill them or injure them or whatever, you know, and even the movies and the you know, the government, military, all that stuff. But when you get a group of guys who just like, you know, hey, like, you know, hey, like, why don't you do that? And then they end up doing it, you know, sometimes, maybe, I don't know. And then it all becomes kind of the shenanigans type thing. So anyway, I'm going to watch this. I saw this. You got the skateboarder. They got the new, you know, video game consoles. He's doing something ridiculous. That's why I don't want to, like, you know, sometimes I worry, like, oh, like, if I watch this, like, something bad's going to happen to him. He's going to die, or, you know, it's like, I don't ever want to do that. So sometimes I worry about what I watch sometimes. Sometimes you can't worry, but it looks like he's doing something totally ridiculous. One of the members of Jackass, and obviously a, you know, skateboarding guy from way back, even into the early 80s. He's done a lot of stunts too, so I know I'm not supposed to watch any of it, but, you know.
So a couple of months ago, Tony Hawk and Steve-O challenged me to an 8x10 skate challenge.
So Tony Hawk nominated.
I'm going to nominate Jack Black, yeah. But I want to see Jack in a skate photo.
Now this is what that is. They did an insane trick, captured it on photographic evidence. They printed up 1,000 8x10s of their trick that they did together, and they signed them all and sold them to raise money for this awesome charity that Tony Hawk does, where they're making skate parks in all the underserved communities around the country. Awesome idea. Every community should have a skate park. But then they challenged me. I accept your challenge. Get ready, pansies. Here comes some serious...
It's always like 40-year-old guys should never accept a challenge like that.
Eating. So I got my Tony Hawk skateboard. We gotta get shot. You ready? I'm gonna do one.
Came through, took another feet out, 715, like a weapon on beat. Don't make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Two in the cut, and you want us to run when I tell a big piece.
That's how you do it. How you like that, Tony? How you like me now, Steve-O? Where do the children play? Hey, hey.
This guy is demonstrative, man. He's become a total demon.
If you want a signed copy of this legendary photo, I like to call it the Kung Fu Panda Fakey No Fakey. The link is in the description below. Support a great cause. Buy my unbelievably awesome 8x10. PS5. Xbox Series X.
This guy is total demon, dude.
Which one is better? So to start off with, how does the console look? Right here we got the Xbox, clean lines. My OCD is ringing yes. Over here you got the PlayStation. It's a little more fancy. It's got some curvature, architectural finesse. And I have to say, I prefer the Xbox. Simple, straight lines. Mark one for the Xbox. Also, the Xbox console has my motherfucking name on it. Jack Black. Mark another one for the Xbox. Xbox. Got Bill Gates. That's power. PlayStation. Got Spider-Man. Sony. Jumanji. Don't forget where your bread is buttered.
I gotta go get a soda. I gotta leave the room and get a soda.
Dude, check this crystal case that my PS5 came in. Jack Jablinski Black. Respect. Someone did their homework over at PlayStation headquarters. They knew all the buttons to push to get into JB's heart. Both Xbox and PlayStation showing deep respect. How do I decide? Who will decide? Jablinski! Jablinski! Nobody else matters. I don't care what Markiplier has to say. Nobody cares what PewDiePie has to say. Not on this. On this subject, only Jablinski knows. I can't decide! I can't make the choice. It's like asking me to choose one of my children. I can't decide! Heart attack! Jablinski is dead. Let's do some gaming. Woo-wee. Before we start gaming, I'm gonna need something to drink. That's nice. Let's do this. PS5, Spider-Man. Now supposedly it's up in 8K. I don't know if this is 8K, but we're gonna find out. That's one thing I've learned about res. The more K, the better. PlayStation! Dude, are we really gonna start off the game by going to pick up groceries? The gaming I was expecting. Oh, we're in a world. Right out of the gate, I'm noticing that this is photorealistic. Dude, Spidey's got moves. Hold R2 to swing.
So hold on, I'm gonna show. I got some bagels at the store. I went to the grocery store. I got some other things, but sometimes when you're dealing with cash and debit, right? So debit, you pay. You try not to go overdrawn or whatever. Cash, you pay. You know, bills and coins, right? I was trying to order something. Sometimes when you order something through the app, you have to pay with debit or credit. They don't accept cash. You can't do an order with cash. Other places you can use cash. You just have to, you know, you can select it, right? Something goes wrong or haywire, right? You can't use it anymore or whatever, right? So, anyway, I was trying to do something today. You know, I've done that coffee where I heat it up, I make the toddies or whatever. I was trying to get, I thought, oh, you know, it's a Saturday. It's been, you know, you got the weather kind of cold. I'll get the, you know, what am I going to get? You know, some type of bakery item. I said, you know what? I'm going to get that specialized cream cheese. You know. So anyway, I couldn't order it because I didn't have debit. I had cash. So I bought it at the grocery store. I'll show it to you. And I decided to get the bagels from the bakery because when I went in today, sometimes I've been getting the French bread. It's pretty inexpensive and it usually tastes pretty good. But sometimes I stop eating it for a little while, whatever. When I went in this morning, it wasn't out yet. They had yesterday's bread. I feel it. And sometimes I kind of like that rustic, you know, harder texture bread if like the crust is harder. Sometimes those expensive breads, you know, the outer crust, you know, or not crust, but it's sort of the crust of the bread tastes good. It's, you know, they talk about all the different, you know, whatever. Like if you get an organic bread or whatever, you know, they're expensive and sometimes they mold. Like in a couple days. So you're like, I spent, you know, I remember, you know, sometimes you go to a bakery or whatever, you're like $5 for a loaf of bread, you know, supposedly handmade or really done well. And it is usually. sometimes they have other things in it or whatever, but if it molds in a couple days, you always remember. You're like, you know, I can't, you know, if I can't throw out another $5 loaf of bread or whatever, right? So I went, somehow I stopped. Oh yeah, because all of a sudden I thought, oh, I'm gonna buy that expensive cream cheese. I couldn't place the order. I go back, I'm in the grocery store, I just go back after buying the groceries. I find they have almost, you know, pretty much the same cream cheese. Not the same identical product, right? But the same type or whatever. And then I went back. The French bread had been done. They put the French bread out on display, but I instead went and said, I guess I'll buy a little bit more expensive bagels because I don't know. I get, you know, sometimes you get the, you know, all the different flavors or whatever. So this is the cream cheese spread, which is, you know, 8 ounces is all right. And then I got these bagels. There's 6 of them, and they got some of the cheese, you know, because you do the everything. It's got all that seasoning and stuff on it. I thought, why not just get the cheese bagels? And so that's what I did. I don't know. I guess I got to re-toast these. You know, I guess I re-warm up the cheese or whatever. They're a little bit more, but they're not too bad. You know, they're not expensive by any means in terms of, you know, cities and stuff in the U.S. So I will probably toast these in a little while. But I don't want to take too much time off the video. So I'm always skeptical to watch this channel because it's got a games title. I don't know, maybe it's his you know, family name or something like that. I thought, oh, I've never heard of that game company or whatever. But, you know, sometimes people, that was kind of the cool thing. Not necessarily about the 90s, but maybe the 2000s, is like sometimes people would set up accounts and then you know, the website didn't it would like be partially built or something like that, or be slow to build. Somebody would end up going back. They'd say, oh, you know, I actually set up this account with a different, you know, screen name or whatever. I totally didn't remember, and I can actually use it. Most of the time, you know, if it's in sort of that, you know, that jackass mentality, you go back and say, I'm never using, you know, that screen name ever again or whatever. But sometimes you can actually use, you know, older screen names, but it almost never happens, you know. Now a lot of the websites, you know, or the apps or whatever have launches. And so you would end up using it right away, but, you know.
Roy's R2 to detach. I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Headed your way. Can I miss the cowboy? Not yet. Still securing a couple of things. Man, it feels good. Seeing the guys from stage last year going back to the
I
wreck.
meant to do that. Come on, swim. Yeah, running up the wall.
This game looks really good. I've always thought how
yeah.
cool that would
Did you
be.
see that? Double fisted. Spidey run.
I mean, imagine if you have the playability to go through the city
Spidey's
like
in trouble.
that.
Dude, I think we're about to be seeing a super villain. Dude, we got 2 Spider-Mans from the Spider-Verse here working together in tandem. I don't care who's in there. Is that Rhino? Dude, Rhino. Dude, new and improved Rhino. Look out, look out. Get it. Now, a lot of you may be wondering, why am I so good at video games?
All right, so I don't know where the rest of the challenge was. Maybe they're keeping all the jackass guys in the studio, right? Like, you sit in the studio behind a TV and a monitor, right? Don't go running around in, you know, grocery carts and stuff. We're actually going to look for some of the jackass highlights. Actually, I have the voice remote. What I'll do is I'll go home. That's probably the best idea. Anytime you start talking about, you know, challenging friends and stuff to stunts, it's like, you know, better just go home. I pressed power. Totally made an error. Okay, let's see. We'll get this turned on again. You know, the other remote, the microphone button's up at the top. Okay. Jackass movie highlights. Johnny Knoxville's probably going to be terribly upset. You know, I'm supposed to pay, it's like one of those, you get like all specific, like you're supposed to say Jackass franchise. Why didn't you say franchise? Oh man, 2006, number 2. I don't remember if I saw that one. Here's the 2002 movie. They probably edited this over 1,000 times. We got to get that out of the movie. We got to get this out of the movie. Philo subscription I don't have. Rent. That's the thing. I'm gonna use up the Google Play, okay? Because I think I can have that credit, and I put money back in the bank for debit. I may just watch parties. It has a really bad ending, okay? So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Some of these guys, you're like, are they good? Are they bad? I mean, the guy dancing around in Tokyo, it's just off the shelf, basically. At the end, the guy, does sort of like self-directed doctor, gotta get fixed. I mean, it's some of this stuff. I mean, you really wonder about the application of it. And they seem to have fun doing it. Maybe in hindsight. I don't know. All right, let's do... I don't think I can buy this movie, actually. I'm not actually going to spend... It's only in standard definition. That's really unfortunate right here. Man, I probably said I wouldn't rent it if it's in standard definition. And it's all part of MTV. It's all part of the big MTV series. It's got to be a rental. Otherwise, you'll remember it. You're like, I can't believe I bought that. That's the best part of renting online, is you never remember or really get the history of what all the movies you've tried to rent or rented or tried to watch. You've got him here. He's in military uniform saluting. Obviously, these guys have had funding for so long. I mean, even the early stuff they did, you're like, there's no way to really apply this without, like, lots of help, really. So... I'll play trailer and I'll decide to rent. I mean, it's SD. It should be totally high definition.
So for your safety and the protection of those around you, Paramount Pictures and MTV Films insist that neither you nor your dumb little buddies attempt any of what you're about to see.
I mean, it's like death right there, dude.
This summer, Jackass.
I remember that with mom and that, dude.
This isn't gonna work.
They at some point they switched over to waking their parents up with fireworks. I was like, oh my gosh, man! It's just even stuff now. I watched Lance 210. I talk about Lance, and he does a lot of stunts and stuff. But I mean, I guess it's good in a way that when you look at some of these older stunts, they're just like, I mean, it's like somebody in that group dies every single time. They recover somehow miraculously. Okay, so we gotta see. I'm trying to use. See, why can't I use the gift card? See, why am I not able to use the gift card? See, this doesn't work, right? I have Google Play gift card. Why am I not able to use the Google Play gift card? So I'm going to go to apply Google Play gift card. So he doesn't understand. I don't know how. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to use my phone. I'll break the broadcast. And then I'll come back. That's what I got to do. I got to break the broadcast. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.